All right. We're gonna talk about angel numbers and numbers in general. We're gonna start off. I've talked a lot about this, but of course, whenever I talk about things during readings, not many people want to go back and watch a reading to get all this extra info. So I'm going to be compiling up things that I've talked about from the past and stuff. Regardless, we're going to talk about numbers, angel numbers, all those things. What's real and what's made up, and why it was made up as well. So anyway, off bat, there are only 9 numbers. I need y'all to understand that. A lot of people get so stuck on there only being 9 numbers. I want you to go find me a number that is higher than 9. And people are going to say, well, 10. 10 is just 1 and 0. 10 is a compound number with the components, with what's being put together being a 1 and a 0. Those are both lesser than 9. You see what's happening? 9 is the highest number. In fact, the highest equation we can get is 999, which, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, is 9 to the power of 9. I believe that's what 999 represents mathematically. If not, doesn't matter. 9 is the highest number. The highest equation that we can come up with is 999. Simple as. Every other number is a compound of lesser numbers. Okay? And when we talk about this, we're going to go into angel numbers before we break everything down, because I really want to talk about angel numbers here. It's really going to make a lot of sense. Angel numbers um, are are trying to show you the steps to your manifestation. It's trying to show you what step you're on. So I'll go off the time of my laptop, which is completely incorrect, but it says it's 1:24 p.m. But since I noticed it, 2 and 4 is 6, 1 is 7. And what does 7 mean? Well, 7 is Sabbath, 7 is wait, 7 is rest, right? That's what the number 7 means. This is how you use angel numbers instead of how everyone else wants to use them, which, like, oh, I feel so happy these good things are going to happen. Yes, but do you understand what it's telling you to do? Do you overstand? This is why so many people get so confused when they see so many angel numbers. They get overwhelmed and overstimulated because they don't even know what the fuck they're looking at. I'm looking at 320. What the hell does that mean? 325? Like, what? Like, you're getting all these messages and none of them are coming out correct because of a lack of actual knowledge on these things. This is something that you got to go and know before you even can leave, really, a situation that you're in, before you can take a next step with your business, before you take someone on a date. If you're wanting to use angel numbers in that category, I'll preface that real quick. If you're going to use angel numbers for that type of thing, make sure you're doing this. If you're using angel numbers for guidance, make sure you're doing this as well. It's important, just in all, to shift your dynamic from the dogma to the truth when it comes down to these things. And people are going to go, yeah, but I've used it this way forever and it's always worked. Okay, well, good for you. I'm here to tell you how it's working. People don't like that. I like it, so I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, understand that when a compound number is there, you add up the numbers, right? We're not worried about what the Europeans taught you what math is. And by the way, their way of math is completely incorrect. That's why mathematically they can't just make a spaceship 1000% correct, launch that shit up without it having a malfunction. That's why they have to have tests, because their math is completely fucking incorrect. They don't even know what math is. What they've done is they've took Kemetic and Sumeric ways of living, translated it to make sense to them, because the people who came over and stole them were intelligently deficient when it came down to things. They didn't understand things to the highest degree. So they sent people there to go learn. They took notes. They took notes based off of what they believed was being said rather than what was being said. Poor translations, awful game of telephone, which is why the mathematics now just don't make sense. That's why there's so many people who's been trying to bust math for years. It's literally why 1 and 1 plus 1 does not equal 2, it equals 3. as well. And people are like, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. When you take one man and one woman and add them together, that equals three. Okay, when you have two things coming together to create, because that's what happens when a compound happens. They're there to create something new. What comes after that? Three, right? Understand that that's like very simple stuff, but that's also just the truth of it. I've known these things for quite some time. I'm glad I get to talk about them, as well as I've had a mentor talk to me about this stuff as well, giving me his breakdowns of things, as well as just going back and listening to some Malachi recordings and books and understanding that as well. It's just there are certain things that we know, but it's good to go back to the teacher where everyone learns these things from and really solidify it even more. Regardless, when we talk about angel numbers in that regard, it's about manifestation, right? And I have them all. I have them all written down here. So for zero, we're talking about zero. Zero is the spiritual. It is the unmanifested. It is the infinite. People want to say it's the void because zero represents the feminine energy, the ovary, if you wish, the darkness before the light comes through, right? People want to say it's a void or an egg. It's infinity. People want to say the lemniscat, which is just a successful ribbon. What they'll do is they'll take the figure eight and flip it on its side and go like, oh, that's infinite. That's an infinite symbol. No, it's not. It's a ribbon. It's a. Have you seen a bow tie before? Like they look. It's literally a bow tie. What does that represent? When do you wear bows? Why do you wear bows? For celebrations, for get-togethers, to hold things together. It's the ribbon of success. It's not infinity. Y'all have been just told that and run with it. The circle is infinity. It doesn't have a point or an end. Infinity has a point in the middle. That's literally it's two circles put together where they bound. I'll even draw it real quick. I'll draw it on the back of this page. So look, and I do need to break it down because some people need the visual representation. If you don't need it, don't worry. But I'm here to. This is the. You know what? It's a little bit catawonky, but that's what keeps it real. Okay, so we have the circle that has no no beginning or no end. I'm gonna ignore it, and then you have the infinite sign. Notice how literally in the middle you can draw a line and it separates it. You can see where it's two and one, right? You can see where it starts. And I know people are going to be like, oh, I can see where your pen began. Who cares? You can literally see it's two shapes put together. The circle is one shape that can literally be divided up into a million little. You can divide it all day long. You know, I divided it, I don't even know how many times, but I could keep drawing lines and divide it. But it's only parts of that circle. It's not two shapes put together. It's just one part of a circle that's being triangulated and pushed everywhere, which is where we're trying to get is to a triangulation. We're trying to unite ourselves and not be a square. The hippies knew what they were talking about. That's why they always said, don't be a square. That's where it comes from. Don't box yourself in. Don't be a square. You know what I mean? Then now people use that as like, don't, you should come party. No, that's the box. That's the box. They're calling you a square because you don't smoke and do drugs and party. Honey, that's the box that you're trying to leave. They're the squares. They think they took it from, you're not having fun. That's how they translated it. But it's really like, don't box yourself in. Don't allow someone to limit you. For the music people out there, what is a sine wave? What is a sine wave and a square wave? And I'll draw this out for y'all too, because I love talking about this. I told this to a professor of a college while I was in high school, and they tried to argue with me about this. And I told them, like, I proved them wrong, and I got offered a scholarship that I fucking denied because I'm not about to go to college to a teacher there that doesn't know more than me. Like, what? Like, you're supposed to know more. Hands up, but dead ass. I already don't like school because it's just indoctrination times 12 and it teaches people to be ignorant. I ain't going to go to a teacher that ain't knowing more than me. Okay? Let's get that straight. So we have a sine wave. And if you don't know, a threshold is like a limit. It can't get past a certain thing. So right here, we have a sine wave down there, right? And if you were to have a limiter, right? So I'm going to draw like multiple. I'm going to draw another one. But there's the limiter, right? The sine wave's fitting in between those two waves. I'll draw one like a little bit better for you to show you a better representation. So look, the sine wave can't go above. We're looking at this one, by the way. The sine wave cannot go past either of those lines, right? At all, it can't. So let's say a sine wave does go past those lines, right? That's an awful sine wave, but we'll keep it. So there, it's right. You can see it. Oh my god, you can see it, right? It's going through both the top and the bottom. It's not very even. I'm going to fill in where it crosses the threshold, right? And I want you to see something. Now, this is not the most perfect example, but look, it literally becomes a square wave. The black void is cut off. It becomes a square wave. So you're literally looking at this basically. Like harmonically, if I were to play the audios, it would turn to a sine wave because it's being squished, it's being distorted, it's being boxed in, so it's not the full-fledged pure tone. Its head's being cut off, which is again the lowercase I, and it's also the capital I. See, you see how all this stuff like combines together. This isn't some made-up jargon stuff. This is genuinely the full-on truth of how things are. And a lot of people really have to get down and bougie with it. And I know as well there are more important things to be talking about, but I need this to be cleared up for a lot of people so that even if they do have like another incarnation, because a lot of people are, that's just how it's going to be. I want to at least plant seeds, not focusing fully, but doing these small classes because these things interest me, to plant seeds into people so they know, or at least so they can go out and teach things as well. Regardless, I'm not the only one that's teaching things about the cosmos and stuff. You can go to phase one. You can go to the young elder. Stay away from Rashad Jamal. He is fake. He's a phony. He's not. He ain't who you think he is. I got to keep it real with you. I got to keep it about because ain't no god or goddess going around telling people that a goddess can't be called a goddess if they're not taking multiple dicks and calling them bitches and stuff, and then inciting people to go kill other people and shit, and getting people arrested for murders and saying we're gonna go start the revolution. No, it's an evolution. Why do you want to revolt? Why do you want to revolt? Why do you have a revolution where you're doing something again? Again, Ray Ra. Why would you want to do it again? Stop. The Ray Ra is a different thing, but y'all, the ones that know will know. You want to evolve first before you can have a revolution, which is re-evolving, which is Ray Ra coming back around evolution. I'm gonna just leave it there because y'all will pick up real quick. And if you don't, look up the definition, look up the etymology of those words, definitions. Go to the images of words as well. The best way to define the meaning of a word is by looking up the images. Images speak 1,000 words compared to man that can only really speak one, which is usually its native tongue, unless it goes out and expresses. Regardless, back to the numbers. I love this shit so much. Anyway, we have 0, which is the spiritual side of things, which is up, down, all around. It's not just up. It's left and right. It's down. It's diagonals. It's all over the place. It's inside, outside. You can see it. You can't. Everything. Okay. It's also the ideas. What is everything around you? An idea. The idea that is a purple. Some people might call that a pink. Some people might see that as blue. Someone might even see that as green. I ain't for me to judge. That's my idea of that. Is it's purple. You know, it's like that. Well, you can't see that light. It's this light. Some people might see that as like a white. Some people might go like, oh, actually, it's like a pink. It's like a washed out pink. It's an idea you're being faced with, right? It's the same thing as the ceiling. Some people might say that's the ceiling. Some people might say it's not. It's the idea that you're being faced with. It is the void. It is the all. It is the infinite. It is always there. You're seeing it. One is the feminine energy, right? That is the idea. That is the feeling that you get. And we're going to use the back wall. That's a good example. So how does that make you feel? That's step 1. Step zero, without anything being defined at all, is just that being there. Now, that goes from 0 to 1 pretty fucking quickly because of how fast light bounces off your retinas and you are able to see it. So now you're like, oh fuck, is that pink? Is that purple? Is that green? Is that blue? And people might be laughing, but some people like they see colors differently. It's called colorblind. It's called whatever it's called. I don't remember what the actual term is when you see colors like that. But some people just see color different colors. It's just how it is. Some people might have stigmatisms that make them see different things. It's all sorts of stuff. So don't be laughing. It's just the truth. Just because you don't experience it doesn't mean it's silly. You know, you never know. You really never know. Some people might do it out of arrogance, but that's on them. Who's to say that they're being arrogant other than themselves? They know. You don't. Keep it real. Anyway, one is the idea, and that idea clicks with you. It's that feeling. It's I like the way that looks. I don't like the way that looks. I like that color. I don't like that color. Whatever. Into two, which is the masculine action. It's the thought. It's the vocalization, if you will. Huh. You know, I that's purple. That's pink. That's defining it. That's masculine. That's putting that label on, right? Three, which is the union of opposites. One and two is three. One, mommy and daddy make me, right? It's the union. They're joined. Your feelings and your thoughts are conjoined, and now you're like, oh, that's purple. Oh, that's green. I don't even see what's back there. What are you pointing at? You know, that's the action. That's when it's together because of four. Four is the visual, matter and time, the manifestation of this, the seeing, the efforts and the adjustings. So then you'll stare at it for a minute. You know, maybe that is pink. Maybe that is blue. I'm seeing a little bit of gray now that I'm staring at it. You know, I'm seeing a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue hues and stuff. It's all there, right? That's the physical. That's when things start becoming visible to you, when you're able to actually see it. You're not just glanced at it like, oh shit, look at that. Now you're looking at it like, oh, I'm embodying it, I'm flowing through it, I'm feeling it. It's not only am I seeing the reflection, but now it's touching me. Now I'm able to see what it desires for me to see out of it. Then it goes into five, which is the physical, the five senses, right? Seeing the outcome, the success and failures. The success being, oh, maybe it's not green. Maybe I looked at it too quick and it was green. I see it's purple now. Or maybe it's not purple. It's just like a lighter pink or magenta or whatever the fuck. However you want to define it. Remember, this is all about you, and this is just a really intense example. But this is what goes on in your noggin. Okay? This is what happens. This is what you do day to day. When you do it like that, every damn day, instantaneously. And it's crazy that people don't break it down and slow down enough to really see it this way. I love seeing stuff this way. It's so interesting because why do we need to see things so fast? Why are we so sped up? Well, first of all, because we're dense matter, and matter has to be vibrating at a very high pace for it to be dense. So that's one thing. Regardless, we go six, which is the spiritual sense, right? After your five senses, you see it. You know, I don't know why. I'm not going to lick it. I can touch it. You can't touch it, but I can. It looks smooth. So you can kind of gauge what it looks like, right? I don't know. You know, you use your senses to tell it. Are you using your sight, your tongue, your hearing? How? How are you letting it talk to you, right? Some people can actually hear colors. Synesthesia. I have synesthesia. That's why I love music so much. And that's why it takes me forever to make music, because I'm always so interested in making a color palette. Regardless, it's a very unique, fun experience. For those that have it, we got a crazy ass gift. For those that can't, the best way to describe it is to look up like a color coded, coded 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 keyboard, and looking at it that way. The color is different for everyone, but for the majority, those are the warm colors. I also talk about the hue bands and the frequencies and the micro frequencies. If you want to watch that class again, I kind of talk a bit about it there as well. You can kind of see the lower vibrations, the lower notes being red, C being the lowest note on the keyboard being a red, all the way up to the violet. You know what I mean? Y'all know. Do the research though, because it's all there. I have it on this channel for a reason. It's to keep you all updated about what's going on, because a lot of people, especially in the conscious community, are so deafened by what's going on that they can't see these things happening in front of them. And they're always so like, you know where you're going, but you don't. And you don't know where you're going because you don't know yourself. You don't know how you operate. You need to, this is you. This is how you operate. And if people might go, oh, it's useless. Well, then that's because you're not here to know yourself this lifetime. I don't know what you're here to do this lifetime, but good, have fun, good luck. For those that wish to know this and are interested in it and understand this stuff, you're here to know yourself. The ones that already understand this stuff already, understand it all sorts of stands, short, big, tall, medium, then you already know what's going on. then you already know this shit's there. You might be here for a refresher. You might just be here to see what the fuck I'm gonna say. Regardless, welcome in. But yeah, this is who you are. You are a matrix because of this little thing up in here, and it's you had to break it down to figure out who you are. Your dogmas, your truths, your lies, everything. It all comes from this system that's based off of past experiences. You wouldn't know the color purple if someone didn't tell you the color purple. That's why someone could say that's green. What the fuck? We know what the color. You know, I'm not going to say we. You have your definition of the color green, and I have mine, and they have theirs. So what tells you that you're right about the color rather than someone else seeing it as a different color? It's just a label that you've just strongly identified it with at the end of the day. Anyway, 6, the spiritual sense. This is going inward for the next steps. So after you look at it, right, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep staring at it? Do you want to gaze upon it? Do you want to look at that cloud over? I'm not gonna ever get the mirroring right. Do you want to look at that cloud over there? Do you want to look at that fucking the other lamp light over there? Do you want to look at the top? Do you want to look at the middle? How are you looking at it? Where do you allow it? How are you allow it to interact with you spiritually? How are you allowing it to talk to you, to guide you? Right. 7, wait, the Sabbath. Waiting for the moment, resting, letting your eyes rest upon it. Maybe you're just going to view it as like the omniscient and just kind of letting your eyes and your peripherals zoom out and just look at it and take it all in for what it is, just looking at the view. Like stargazing, for instance, you're just kind of up there looking, not really looking for anything in specific, just kind of gazing, right? That's the 7. Goes to the 8, which is when it's complete. You now have the full image of whatever the fuck that is. This is the sky, but you know what I mean? You're looking at it. You've completed the task of defining what's in front of you, because that's what we do. I've defined that as like, I don't even know what I would. It's like a wall paint behind the bed. I've identified it as that much. It's cool decoration. It's beautiful to look at. It makes me smile. Whatever, right? You've used your senses. You felt it. Everything. 9 is the test, which is seeing how things flow, which is, again, like you seeing everything all together, seeing like, does it fit the background? Is this something that I want? Anything of that nature, right? And if you need to, you can go back to step 4, which is like, so let's say the artist who's about to paint on that blank canvas. We'll go back a little bit further so we can get a better understanding. And I'll describe it in a different way as well. I should have described it in a different way, but it's just easier doing it this way. So let's go back to the painter. The painter had a bunch of images that they could choose from, right? And they went with 9. Like, okay, I have this beautiful backdrop that I want to paint. It's sort of like a farmyard and everything. Y'all have seen the farm whenever I sit at the desk. It's just like a farmyard thing. It's cool. I like it a lot. But it's like they're looking at it. It's like, okay, so I have all this area to paint. I have all these things to do. I have all these colors to choose from. I have the picture I want. Is everything good? You're at step 9. If you need to go back to step 4, which is square 1, 1 square, square 1, 4, back to what you can see, the visible, the manifest, what you want to see. So then what maybe they took a picture, whatever the fuck it's called, where a landscape photo. Thank you, Spirit. They took a landscape photo of it, right? And then they overlaid what they were going to paint on top of it to see, like, oh, this looks good. Oh, that looks good. You know what I mean? They do that. That's step 9. Do you need to go back to step 4 to replan? Or are you able to see things through? Either way is fine. It's up to you. But step 10, which is 1-0 instead of 0-1, right, shows you that you are able to build on top. The actual complete result, it's done. The test was painting it, which is the painting's done. Maybe you had to redo it a few times. However, the painting's done. Everything's good. The test is there. Now, time for the new adventure. What's that new adventure? Maybe it's a new art project. Maybe it was putting the bed here. Maybe it was adding lamination to the painting. However, but that's what's going on. A better way, an easier way to describe this as well, because I'll describe it this way too, really quickly, is wanting to start a new business. Start at 0. What do you want that business to be about? 2, make a list. Well, 0, 1. 0 is the idea. So you take your pen and you're like, okay, so what are we going to do? I'm going to feel my ideas. I feel like doing all these things. I feel like doing all this all seems cool. 1 is the feeling, right? 2, you start making a list. You're putting it into actions. You're putting that feeling into thought into like an actual action. You're like, okay, I want to make a business, bakery, dance hall, clothes designer, however, yada, 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 just writing shit down, right? 4 is seeing the efforts and adjusting. So what do I have to do this? What do I have to do to get a baker? Well, I have to have this, and that. If I wanted to do a dance hall, I need a place to rent out this, and that. If I wanted to do my own clothing brand, I need this, and that, and all sorts of things, right? You're getting your plan together. You're square. You're making the box that you wish to build upon. Build will take things from as well, right? 5 is seeing the outcome. You're taking steps to it. Now, some of these steps might be regretful. Some of these steps with the 5 of Cups, even in the tarot, which I'm not going to pull the card. I'm going to pull the card out. You can't talk about this stuff. If you like, I mean, you can, but since I'm over here and y'all know me mainly for tarot, it's so important for me just to show y'all these things. But yeah, so like he's like the 5 of Cups, it's disappointment, oh, some ideas worked, some ideas didn't. I like these things, I don't like other things. That's what it's like. So, oh, I want to do a bakery, but what if I got a building for the bakery instead of used my house? So instead of, you pull from the dance hall industry and well, the dance hall plan, not the industry, but the dance hall plan of having a building to rent out, and you rent that building out for bakery instead, right? It's seeing the outcome. It's seeing what's working and what's not working, right? And that's the 4 and 5 step. The 6th step is going inward. So after you take that step, what else do I need to do? Well, I still need ingredients. I should probably work on advertising, all these things that you desire to do, right? 7 is wait. So while you're getting these ideas, rest. Don't worry about immediately jumping on the train. See what you already have. Well, what do I have that I can work with? Well, I could already make an email and like work on that. So I'll do that first. I'm not going to jump the gun and go ahead and try and get people to back up my business. I'm not going to go ahead and try to start like a GoFundMe for it. I want to see what I can do first. I'm going to wait on these other ideas that are working. 8 is completing the rest of the task. 8 is the success ribbon. Things are working out, and if they're not, you can go back to the other steps and see where you messed up, of course. But 8 is the limit, it's the achievement. You're seeing things work. You're taking your steps. You're enjoying it. It feels good. It's working good. Everything's floating up. It might be small. It might be the start, but it's working. It's making you feel free. It's releasing things. You're like, okay, good. I'm feeling successful. I'm doing something on my own finally. We're getting all this done. 9. Is things really working? Are things flowing really well? Are they really flowing well? Or was that just a success achievement going well? Now that things have been working for a while, what do you need to do? You need to plan more. You need to go back to step 4 and get more adjusting done. Maybe you need to adjust something more. Well, bakery's cool, but now I need a bigger building, right? Or now I need more because I'm getting more requests. Maybe I want to hire someone else, or maybe I want to like do an online form. All these things. Go back to square 4. How can I build upon my business, right? I mean square 1, excuse me, not square 4, but square 1. And then after that, you're done. That was the test to see what else you need to do. It's testing. You see if you need to do anything else. 10 is the build on top. 1 and 0. You've done everything you need. Now you might be a business where you're opening up locations in different states, and you, instead of being a business, you're a business manager, and now you're managing a bunch of corporations around the states and whatnot, right? Or maybe you are just running it solo, and instead of having multiple places, you end up being like a traveling business. So you're like, oh, I'm going to travel here and there. It's a new adventure. It's the same thing, but it's getting bigger and bigger. You're moving more. There's more energy behind it. So looking at it as that as well. These are how angel numbers work. This is manifestation process 101. This is what's going on. So when you see an angel number like 333, that's 9. You're being tested. They'll say, oh, you're protected, don't worry. Yeah, want to know why you're protected? Want to know why there's ascended masters around you and knowledge going to you? Because you're being tested. Because this is your test. And you need that divine support through this test. You need that extra energy, because your energy alone wouldn't be sufficeful. You need the divine to support you. That's the test. Simple, easy done, right? Now this breaks down into master numbers. Master numbers are an ego trap. And what I mean by that is like, I don't remember what master number it is. It's like, oh, I'm master number this, and it means I'm a healer. Yeah, so now what? Now you're holding yourself on a pedestal for healing. And if you're not doing what you need to fully do as a healer, based off your own definitions of a healer, Depending on how well you're able to cooperate with your mind and your heart space, will determine your actions outward. So maybe you're a healer, but like, oh, I need to heal on all these things. I don't know if I can do that. Well, that's because you've clinging too much to a master number, which really is just whatever those two numbers are added up together, which is your main test. You can do this for your life, like your life path number. Like for instance, right? My life path number is 3. I'm here to focus on the plan. I'm here to bring things together. Simple as. The year 2025. What is that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Grand old test. Are you actually ready to go off on your new adventure, or are you not? Are you ready for the test to see how much you've learned these past 3 years? See, that was being put together like that. It's genuinely like this. People will say all sorts of things because they had some form of like drug trip, and they like, oh, my brain put all these things together. Yeah, well, that's you. That doesn't mean it's for everyone else. And this is what the conscious community gets really diluted on. There's still signs. You can take them as you want, but it's important to know what you're actually looking at so you're not so confused. So that when you receive these signs, you're not just Googling the same name angel number again and going, I keep seeing this number over and over again, and I don't know why. Well, because you're not seeing the actual message of it. I see this all the time where people go like, I'm seeing 441 all the time. Yeah, you're not seeing that you're being tested. You keep panicking because you're not seeing the test. You're not passing the test. If you see repeated angel numbers, that can usually mean that you're failing the thing that you're needing to go past, which is trying to show you, hey, you're failing at this. Let's give you a lending hand by giving you the sign. We don't understand that because we don't take time to break it down. We see it as one big jumbled mess because that's the same way we see compound words, which most any big word like Homo erectus is a compound word. Homo erectus, man standing up, man erect, an erect man. It's not that hard. It's not that complex, I should say, truly. It's how humans complicate things. We expect things to be so grandiose, but yet our minds can't comprehend how simple they are because everything has to be crazy. This is why when scientists and biologists they go fucking looking for the smallest atom, there's a new atom that's created. There's a new literal, I don't even know what to call it at this point. We've gone down to the smallest fucking molecule. Like a new molecule will pop up when we go down into one because it's a conjoined. There's always going to be another. This is why God's name cannot be known. I don't care who you fuck you call it. You can't. By knowing God's name gives you permission to summon it. Does God know his own name? Does God know her own name? Probably not. I'm gonna tell you no off bat. You can look up doctors. You can look up anything from Malachi York, L, and find out that God does not know their own name. Because why would God need to summon themselves if they're everywhere at once? Why do you need to summon God? Why do you need to invoke God? Why do you need to call upon God whenever you already know that God already knows everything about you, and all you need to do is be more open to that energy to move forward? You see what I mean? I hope y'all are grasping it because I know I'm making sense. It's just a matter of you grasping it. And dropping these old dogma ways of being, because these are the traps that happen within the spiritual community. People think that, oh, I'm in the spiritual community, everything is all light and lovely. No, there are people who are misinformers, there are false teachers, false prophets, scammers, con artists, all sorts of shit in this community. And a lot of you all have already know this, right? So when we start to talk about the truth, it's those that have been following these same lies, though they've been benefiting off of it as well. They don't like the truth being put out because, again, they've benefited off of that lie to a degree. Confirmation with that notification. That's hilarious. Thank you, Spirit. But that's what's going on. And you have to be very, very aware of that. Is that these things that these teachings, I'm going to say, that have been passed down don't really have any in-depth searchings. And when you do search for it in-depth, like what are angel numbers? Oh, angel numbers are signs from our guardians and angels and high ascended masters and ancestors to take us on our right path. Yeah. So why the fuck are they spamming 360 in my head 24/7 and around me everywhere? Whenever I look up the number 360, it's like, oh, you're doing a complete cycle. The end of a cycle's happening. Is it really, or are you being tested? And do you keep failing the test because you keep seeing it? Right? You know what I mean? It's a miscommunication. It's a poor telephone game that I'm going to clean up. And a lot of people might not like it again, but at the end of the day, this is the difference between those who are wise and those who are intelligent. Those who are intel agents, those that just go around and collect data of things without actually seeing it. You know, they're copy pasters, they're broken records, they'll repeat the same thing, versus someone who's wise, sees what's going on, breaks it down themselves, and it allows a newer, fresher perspective. It's the whole point of evolution. We don't need traditions. Traditions are what keep you stuck in a box. I mean, look at religion. Religion's a tradition. Look at what religion's done to people. Religion's broke apart families, friends, all sorts of shit. Is that fun? Is that what you want to do? Is to make us more separable so that we can be conquered easier, divide and conquer? That whole thing. Y'all want to do that, or you want to be together? Where traditions are out the door and we just accept things for what they are is the whole truth. Even though having a different understanding of them is completely valid and fair, doesn't mean that's wrong. But just having a knowledge, an understanding, an overstanding of the truth so that you can better move forward with these things is all I wish to offer. But this is a little tidbit about angel numbers and numbers in general. I hope it made sense. I hope y'all can take this and really like allow it to sink in. Because it's really going to show you it's going to help you out a lot. It's going to make a lot more sense. You're going to see like how numbers, when you add them up, how it's the same number, how it's always going to be 1 through 9. It's going to show you what step you're on in life, in a manifestation, in whatever you're doing, whether it's healing. It can even give you signs for what you need to do as well. But regardless, I mean, this is the video. Thank you all so much. Y'all know the drill. Everything's in the description. Sublinear 20 in the spirit order for the bracelets. Any of my services, books, however, email me. Use the order form in the description. Doesn't matter. But that's what's going up. I love you all so much. See you in the back though. Thank you for the support as always. But I love you all so much. To the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And I will see you all later.